pushed the boundaries into a career that spanned decades and regions. Today, Vice Chancellor, I beg you to recognize the achievements of this precious daughter of the soil, whose life and work are a superlative example of the strength of a woman. A precious gem by name, a precious gem by nature. Ruby Beryl Viola Lake was born at Dillup's Sugar Estate in St. Paul, Antigua in 1922, the second of 6 children. Vice Chancellor, I feel compelled to pause here to recognize that if she had achieved nothing else in life, just being here at 99 years old and in her 100th year of life, would have been sufficient for a celebration. Her illustrious lifetime spans regional and international historical events, about which most of us can only read. Imagine plantocracy, colonialism, and World War II, the Federation of the West Indies, statehood, and the independence of Antigua and Barbuda, and in Montreal, Canada, the October Crisis, the uprising of the Front de Libération du Québec, FLQ, of 1970. Pressed to share the secrets of her long life, this admirable gem of a woman simply reminds us that we are what we eat, and credits the fresh, unprocessed fruits, vegetables, and seafood in her early years, describing them as like no other. Dr. Lake Richards has had a distinguished career as a medical doctor, which started with the education foundation she received at the Thomas Oliver Robinson TOR Memorial School in Antigua. For those of you who go that far back, it was simply called Miss Robinson's. After that, in 1948, at about 26 years old, she went off to study medicine at the University College of the West Indies, now the UWI Mona campus in Jamaica. Part of the first cohort of 33 students registered in the medical program, one of 10 women, and one of 2 Antiguans. She received her medical degree in 1954. In 1958, now wedded to Novell Hamilton Richards, then a newly elected member of the West Indies Federal Parliament, Dr. Lake Richards traveled to Trinidad and Tobago, where for a year she continued to practice her craft as a medical doctor, before returning home to a post of parish doctor in Glanville, while operating a private clinic from her home. Shortly after, she migrated to Canada with her husband as he took up a diplomatic post there. It is while in Canada that her attention turned to the issue of mental illness, especially in children. And this prompted her to specialize in child and adolescent psychiatry at McGill University. In 1977, she received her fellowship in the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada and worked at the Reddy Memorial Hospital and the Montreal Children's Hospital. She lectured in the Department of Psychiatry at McGill University and served as a psychiatrist at the Douglas Mental Health University up until the age of 93 years. Vice Chancellor, I'm sure that you will agree with me. For a woman to support her husband on his career paths, as was expected of women in that era, while at the same time pursuing her personal career interests and ambitions, is indeed phenomenal. This woman surely changed the course, epitomizing the claim that woman is boss. A proud Antiguan, Dr. Lake Richards recalls the goosebumps she felt on hearing the Antiguan national anthem sung for the first time, a pride that was no doubt doubled by the fact that the lyrics were penned by her husband. She transferred this pride to her son, Barry, who, though living in Canada, had to visit his homeland regularly to remain anchored to his culture and his family. But she also taught him to respect and value other peoples and cultures. She exposed him to different situations and peoples, and taught him that there is value and beauty in everyone. He speaks of her as someone who gives of herself effortlessly and recalls the time when she volunteered to return a patient safely to Nigeria and used the opportunity to teach him about other environments and lifestyles while touring Africa and later Europe. Vice-Chancellor, a good measure of the strength of a person, or dare I say in this case, of a woman, is her coping and resilience under stress and pressure. Dr. Lake Richards met the mark and exceeded it. As a medical doctor in Antigua in the late 50s, early 60s, she went out on house calls and sometimes had to visit horrific scenes of sickness and death. She recalls one morning, while serving her family breakfast, being called to a mass casualty bus accident where persons were killed and dismembered. Her resilience was also evident while she was practicing her craft in Canada, while she sometimes encountered serious life-threatening conflicts. Nevertheless, this gem of a woman gave selflessly, always placing the well-being of her patients before her own. The singer Shaggy could have had her in mind when in his song, Strength of a Woman, he sang, "With a smile and a style, she'll protect you like a child." Vice-Chancellor, I dared not sing that one. This indeed she did, as she protected her patients, many of whom were children. Vice-Chancellor, surely you will agree with me that it takes a special woman to be able to not only meet her family responsibilities, but also give of herself to her community, both in and out of the region. Dr. Ruby Beryl Viola Lake Richards, humble, quiet, calm, a resilient woman with abounding love for humankind, caring, sharing, and achieving, combining roles of wife, mother, teacher, and doctor. Vice-Chancellor, I'm sure that you will agree with me today that this woman is boss. Vice-Chancellor, it is my pleasure to invite you, by the authority vested in you by the Senate and Council of the University of the West Indies, to confer on Dr. Ruby Beryl Viola Lake Richards the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Dr. Lake Richards, matriarch of the UWI, by the authority vested in me by the Senate and Council of the University of the West Indies, I now confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.